Hey there, I'm Kelvin, the host of Bitetells, where we bite into the food and we tell you what we think. In this video, I'll be going to Wendy's to try out the cookie dough frosty fusion served with cookie dough bits and brownie batter swirl. With the choosing of vanilla or chocolate, I'll be having both to see the difference. Since I'll be filming within the Wendy's, the audio will be muted. However, there will be a little voiceover. With that, let's go to Wendy's. Here we are at my nearest Wendy's that had the vanilla frosty but didn't have the chocolate frosty, so I called this location. They said they had it, so when I arrived and ordered it, they told me they only have vanilla and not chocolate, so I called this location. And thank God this Wendy's had both vanilla and chocolate frosting. Third time's the charm, I guess. So here we are at Wendy's with a 3.7 out of 5 stars on Google, which is funny because the previous locations had ratings over 4 stars on Google but don't serve chocolate frostings. That's misleading. Moving on, here's the poster promoting the new cookie dough frosty fusion. Here I am inside in line going to order the cookie dough frosty fusion. Here we are seated. After 3 minutes, the Frosties were ready to review. Here is the vanilla cookie dough frosty. You could see the brownie swirl on the edges. Here on top of the frosty, you can see the cookie dough bits. It may not seem like a lot, but I can confirm there's more bits within the frosty. Over here, we have the chocolate cookie dough frosty that I was looking for. It seems like they gave me more chocolate frosting compared to the vanilla frosty. Here's what the top of the frosty looks like. Here are the vanilla and chocolate cookie dough frosties side by side. I appreciate the size of these cups, and now I'm going to try to make a YouTube thumbnail here. In addition, I got in 5 chocolate chunk cookies for $5 for additional cookies in my frosty. I believe it's worth the price because these cookies were larger than the palm of my hand. Before we try the cookie dough frosty, let's try the chocolate chunk cookie first going in. The cookie was soft, crisp, and doughy, while the chocolate was melty, gooey, and generous. I wish it wasn't dry and cold, but for the size and price, it was worth it. I give the chocolate chunk cookie from Wendy's a 9 out of 10. The batter was soft, the chocolate was nice, and the size was big. I would buy again. Alright, it's time to try the cookie dough frosty. Here's the blue spoon they provided for us. We'll be starting off with the vanilla cookie dough frosty. Here's a scoop from the top with the cookie dough bits going in. The vanilla frosting was refreshing, creamy, and clean, letting the cookie dough stand out. The bits were chewy, buttery, and rich, with a tiny bit of chocolate providing a sweet, tasty experience. Here I was digging deeper into the cookie dough frosty for the brownie batter swirl. It's hard to tell, but here are the tiny brownie bits from the vanilla frosty going in. With the brownie swirl, it was minimal, fudgy, and had a cocoa taste. A nice addition to the cookie dough frosty. The rating I will give the vanilla cookie dough frosty fusion from Wendy's an 8.4 out of 10. The frosty was good. It tasted great. However, the frosties by themselves cost less than $1, but with cookie dough and brownie swirl, it bumped it up to $4. I don't think the cookie dough and brownie swirl were worth 3 times more than the frosty itself. Don't get me wrong, I know it should cost more for additional toppings, but $4 is a bit of a stretch. Regardless, I enjoyed it and I'll give it a try again. At last, it's time to try the chocolate cookie dough frosty fusion from Wendy's. Here's a scoop from the chocolate cookie dough frosty from the separate spoon going in. The chocolate frosty was indulging, smooth, and velvety, making the cookie dough bits taste mellow and chunky with the chewy, buttery, rich texture blending well with the chocolate frosty. Once again, I begin digging to get the brownie batter swirl in my chocolate frosty to give it a quick taste. Here's a scoop of the chocolate cookie dough frosty with a brownie swirl going in. Since the brownie was minimal and fudgy, it provided richness and more depth with the powder and smooth chocolate harmonizing with each other. Overall, the rating I will give the chocolate cookie dough frosty fusion from Wendy's an 8.5 out of 10. The reason why I gave the chocolate one a bit of a higher rating compared to the vanilla is because the chocolate felt more worth it with the cookie dough. However, it's still a bit pricey with the cookie dough mixed into it when I could get the chocolate frosty for less than $1. Regardless, I enjoyed it and I think you will too. Before I say my final thoughts, I am going to place my cookie dough frosty with the chocolate chunk cookie to give an ultimate cookie experience. Here's my custom Wendy's cookie dough frosty on the cookie going in. It was simply a smooth vanilla frosting with chewy cookie dough and a crunchy chocolatey cookie, making the taste experience dense and layered with sweetness and texture. What are my overall thoughts on the Wendy's cookie dough frosty fusion? It was sweet and enjoyable. The frosties were smooth, creamy, and delicious. The cookie dough was rich, doughy, and buttery, while the brownie swirl gave it a small pinch of chocolate, working it all together. I would like to see the frosty be cheaper and have more cookie dough to higher my rating. Other than that, it's worth giving it a try. In addition, the chocolate chunk cookie from Wendy's is pretty good. I just wish it was a little warmer. This concludes the Bitetells video. My name is Kelvin. If you have any snacks or fast food meals you will want me to try, leave them in the comments. I'll love to read them. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in another food review. Goodbye.